2 games and 1 cup game in, and I'm already struggling for positives when I make these videos. Southampton match preview. Welcome back to Black and White Banter, everyone. I'm still reporting here from a cheap hotel room in Las Vegas. Firstly, before I touch on the Southampton match preview, I just want to talk about the Burnley game. I wasn't actually at the game, so that's why I didn't do a match review. I didn't feel like I was in a position to talk too much about the performance because I was literally uploading flashscore.co.uk every 30 seconds. Probably is the better way to watch it, if I'm being totally honest with you. But I just want to, before I go any further onto the Southampton game on Saturday, with regards to that, as far as I've read, not a great performance against Burnley in the Cup. I just want to voice my opinions on Steve Bruce. Now, I've gone into this season not wanting to criticise Steve Bruce too much. It's a new season. We got Willock over the line. The lack of transfer money is not his fault. I'm sure Bruce would have liked to have 50, 60 million to spend. A lot of my friends who have followed teams that he's managed in the past, like the likes of Hull and stuff, have always told me he's quite good in the transfer market. That if you look at his track record, maybe there's a couple of arguments there that, the likes of like Robertson when he was at Hull, Maguire, he signed players like that. He maybe has an eye for a decent footballer. I'm not criticising that, and I thought, right, let's go into this season. We've looked okay in pre-season. Obviously, Fraser's come back on the scene. Wilson's been given the number 9 shirt. We did finish last season a little bit stronger, so I had an open mind. But if Steve Bruce is really going to sit there as a fan, and let's not forget he always describes himself as a fan of Newcastle, and he's going to tell us how he wants to take the cup competition seriously. Don't forget he did say that last season, and we went on that run that was ended by Brentford, frustratingly. Why the fuck, 2 games into the season, are we making 9 changes against the Premier League team in what is one of the only opportunities for us fans under this toxic Mike Ashley regime to have a little bit of hope? We know we're going to be fighting relegation again because we've signed 1 player. We're not going to sign anyone else. We'll be lucky if we maybe get fucking Peter Crouch on loan out of retirement, someone terrible like that, just to fill the gaps. So the only bit of hope as Newcastle fans that we have going into a season is a bit of a cup run. Quarter-final, I was buzzing going into that Brentford game last season. I thought, something to look forward to. Wow, we could be in a semi-final here. And Burnley at home, if he'd have started maybe 3 or 4 first teamers, we would have beaten them. Burnley are Burnley. They're one of the worst teams to watch. I might even say in the top couple of divisions in the country. There's teams in the Championship and League One who are probably better to watch than Burnley. So for him to make 9 changes, Maximin could have played longer than he did. He's a game changer. You've got Willock sitting there on the. It just boils my piss that he chose the team that he did. And I'm not saying some of the players that came in weren't capable. The likes of like Mankio, Fraser, I expected him to play. I talked about that in the match preview. But the fact that he made so many changes and we go out, yes, I watched the highlights. We were lucky. Hendrick should have scored a couple maybe. Gale hits the crossbar from a tight angle. I get that. I'm not sitting, I wasn't at the game, so I'm not in a position to comment on how we played, on who looked good and who didn't. I've only been able to pick up scraps of social media comments and obviously match reviews. But the fact that he played such a weak as piss team when relegation is so far away from a worry, if this was a cup game in January, FA Cup 3rd round, I get it. I kind of get why priorities need to change. We might have a couple of injuries by then. Games are coming thick and fast in the Premier League. But in fucking August, for us to be making 9 changes in a game that is the only opportunity for us Newcastle fans to have a little bit of hope of getting anywhere and seeing anything positive out of our season, which is only going to be fighting relegation again, going through the motions, hoping for maybe a 12th or 13th place finish, couple of goals here and there, a little bit of excitement from time to time, the odd good performance under Brucey Ball. The fact that he's making all them changes is a fucking joke. I'm sorry, if he's a Newcastle fan, he can suck my balls as far as I'm concerned, because any Newcastle fan who is the manager of the club does not put a weak as piss team out like he did in a cup game. If it was against League One opposition like Rochdale, the Mackhams, someone like that in the cup, I would understand such a weak team because on paper we are still massive favourites to win. But we were playing a Premier League side that we can beat. I think Burnley have had the same team what feels like for about 4 fucking years. That's what it feels like to me when I look at their team, like the McNeils, the Woods. They beatable on paper. They had Bardsley playing at right back, man. How long's he been on the scene? Now I feel like Bardsley was kicking a football when I was in nappies, and the fact that we've gone out on penalties, and you know, penalties is a lottery. I get that. I'm not going to touch on that too much. I watched the penalties. Maximin's was piss poor. Almiron, who I personally don't rate very much. I mean, how he's striking that football for a penalty kick. I know if the keeper goes the other way, he scores. But come on, man, you're a professional footballer. Put a bit more power on the football. But I just think it's a joke, and I'm already on Bruce's back now 3 games into the season because of that team that he put out in that cup. Yes, he came out and he said, we were unlucky, we had chances on another day. I was pleasantly surprised, but I was a bit more annoyed that no journalist pushed him on why that team was so weak, because there was no excuses. Yes, our squad's paper thin, there's no question about that, but so early in the season to not go a little bit stronger against the Premier League side, to keep our name in the hat, to keep a bit of momentum in the city and give us fans a little bit of hope. Fuck off, man. It's bad enough we have an owner who doesn't want to spend any money this summer without him doing that. But right, Southampton on Saturday, already a fixture that you're going to be looking at as a Newcastle fan and thinking, right, we need something from it. We need at least a point. The longer we go on this winless run, not recreating very much. I mean, we didn't test the Aston Villa goalkeeper at all, which was piss poor in itself. Yes, Wilson scores, it's a different game. Yes, if the penalty's given, it's a different end of the match, but we were not good enough on Saturday. Southampton, well, there's only one player you can bank on scoring on Saturday, isn't it? One Geordie-born footballer who they've taken a punt on, who obviously wasn't good enough for us at the time. And I don't buy into the Newcastle fans. I'm sorry if there's any of you watching this who say, you know, it was another mess up of us to let Armstrong go. No one who watched Armstrong play when he put on the Newcastle stripes in the few cup games that he played, me included, could have said that he looked good. We should keep him. Yes, there's a process that we should start going through a little bit more. The Chelsea and Man City had tried to do, where you keep loaning players out and they get better and better and better. We should have done it with Ivan Toney. Yes, we kept on loaning him out, but then we never built on that. We just loaned him out, and then obviously when money was put in front of us, we let him go. Armstrong's another one of them, but you can guarantee he's going to score on Saturday. His whole family are going to be in the stands. He's going to get a good reception from us. He is going to be literally like Santa Claus on a roller coaster who's just done 3 lines of cocaine on Saturday, because it's the biggest game of his career. Playing against his boyhood club at St James's Park for the opposite team with a full 52,000 in the stadium. So that's where my money's going to be off for first scorer. If he does and you win any money off that, you're welcome. But Southampton haven't really invested anything. They've lost a couple of their good players. Obviously, they lost Vestergaard, very good footballer for them. So on paper, we should get something. Of course, we should. If Maximin's feeling it, that is, for me, it's getting to the point now where Maximin is the key to our performances. If he isn't playing well, we aren't playing well. Against West Ham, when we scored 2 goals and looked okay in the first half, it was all through St Maximin. Every single bit of it was through him. So if he's up for it, Callum Wilson's always going to put the ball in the net. You've got Willock, who's going to make them bursts and runs. We should create some chances on Saturday. Certainly more than what we created against Aston Villa. Do I fancy us? No. I'm concerned already. I didn't see enough in that Aston Villa game to be confident going into this one that we're going to get a win. Do I think we'll get a point? Maybe, yes. But already you are looking at fixtures like Southampton at home over the course of the season. I think these are the games we need to win. And I do not like talking about winnable, must-win games in August. But that's where we're at, unfortunately, because we have invested not a single penny in the club and we have Steve Bruce as manager. And I'm not going to sit here and get on the huge Bruce out brigade this early in the season. But after what he did on Wednesday and the lacklustre performance against Aston Villa, which is the polite way of putting it, I'm going to say that I'm not hopeful going into this game, and I'm already getting annoyed as a Newcastle fan with Mike Ashley, because we haven't invested in anything, and when the results don't start coming, all of the frustration that we've all got about our lack of investment, the lack of the fact we didn't get taken over, Amanda Staveley filling our heads with shit in the background, it's all going to start to bubble over. The atmosphere is going to get more toxic. When I eventually get back in the UK in start of September, I'm almost not looking forward to that first game back at St James's Park or away. I might be going to the Man United away game. I should be, because it's been a year and a half since I've been in a full St James's Park, but I'm not, because I know it's going to get more and more toxic. The Bruce out question marks are going to be there. I don't know, I'm not confident, but for me, from the Aston Villa game, I was happy with the defensive changes from the West Ham game, because we looked poor in our first match at home, so I wouldn't change the defence. I don't know. Please let me know in the comments how Lewis played last night at left back. I didn't really read too much on that. I saw player ratings, but I didn't physically see the game to know how he played because of the lack of stream. I would maybe make a change in the fullback positions, but who have we got? Manquillo is slightly better defensively, but not as good as Murphy going forward, you could argue. Lewis, for me, in his first full season for us, I know he's only a young kid, he's weak. He's not great going forward. He can't cross a ball for shit unless he looked different last night. So who you bring in to fill those? I mean, I still want Paul Dummett there. He's defensively sound, and yes, you lose that player going forward, but let's, I want to see Almiron dropped. I'm not Almiron's biggest fan. Drop Almiron, get Fraser in, who I personally think's got a lot more quality than Almiron when he gets to running games under his belt and his fitness comes back. Doesn't work as hard because we all know Almiron's like a little kid on the playground, but when do we start saying, hang on, he's a £20 million attacking player and he's not offering us anything attacking wise? So those are the changes I would make. Everything else is obviously going to stay the same. Shelvey, he's going to be replaced by Willock in that centre. Hayden, fingers crossed he's fit enough to start, because for me Hayden is very, very important to everything that we do. Maximin, let's fingers crossed. I think Maximin for me is keeping Bruce afloat. He did it at the end of last season. He is the linchpin for all of our attacking football. Yes, Willock's goals were massively important, and that's why it was great to sign him. But Willock isn't the sort of player who can do things by himself. He's the player that supports that attacking threat and gets in the box and takes shots on goal. And Maximin, when he is not firing, we fucked. And that's why I'm worried already for this season. Yes, there's worse teams than us on paper in the league, much worse teams, and that's what we're relying on. And once again, we're in this fucking merry-go-round as Newcastle fans, where we're just relying on teams to be worse than us. We want the owners trying to sell us. It's not happening. There's no money getting spent. We don't like our manager. It's just going round and round and round. So I'm going to go for a score draw on Saturday. If by chance there is anyone on this planet watching this, I will be watching the game at the Crown and Anchor in Las Vegas, where a couple of the Newcastle Supporters Club meets. Let me know if you're around. I don't think there's anyone watching this video from Las Vegas, but who knows. And I haven't really had much chance to do match reviews because I'm travelling quite a lot and there's a big time difference. Hopefully I'll get a match review done for the game, and we'll hopefully at least be a point better off, but we need to see more because things are just going to get worse and worse, and we're going to be looking over our shoulders, and that points tally the other teams are going to pull away. So, as always, Newcastle fans, please like and subscribe to Black and White Banter. Get us on Facebook and Instagram. As always, as soon as I get back to England, that's when the content's going to get churned out more and more. And I'll hopefully touch that down with you for a match review where we might be a point better off. I think Adam Armstrong's going to have something to say about that, though.